Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Get back.
I'm pretty sure, like, they kind of probably were overwhelmed.
Now at 11, Halloween chaos at Great America is no match for security guards. The huge group of teens who tormented the theme park guests. And those teens started brawl after brawl, forcing Santa Clara police to step in and take control. KPIX 5's Joe Vasquez walks us through the video.
It was chaotic. It was hectic.
Noe Bracamontes posted his video of the fight on Snapchat Live. First, it was punches between two girls, then a zapping sound. Noe is pretty sure that was a taser.
We heard it, and I was like, what? Is that what I think it is? She just grabbed it and started, like, I guess, tasing the girl, like, almost like stabbing her in a way.
This is supposed to be a fun event, Saturday night at the Halloween Haunt at Great America Theme Park. But it turned ugly after witnesses say groups of young teenagers crowded into the park and got into fights.
Get back.
One fight after another. Then other teams would swarm around to shoot video on their cell phones, which seemed to encourage more fights. Fights over nothing.
Like, oh, he's looking at me weird, or she looked at me weird, or something, and then...
So somebody would say something to somebody,
or they, you know, because you're walking by, there's a lot of people, you bumped into them. Some might take it disrespectful some kind of ways.
Santa Clara police say as many as 100 young people were involved in the fights. Some customers got hurt, minor injuries. Others reported their cell phones were stolen. Santa Clara police report they made 2 arrests, one juvenile for theft, another person for public intoxication. A spokesman for Great America reports there was an incident that required police to be called and insists the park did not evacuate or close early. One employee tells me off camera that once Santa Clara police officers arrived, they started ushering customers and some employees out of the park just after midnight, well before closing time. Tonight, Santa Clara police stepped up patrols in the area, but last night, Noe says the security guards were seriously outnumbered, so the ones he saw did little to intercede.
They didn't really do anything, so...
The security just didn't intercede at all.
I'm pretty sure, like, they kind of probably were overwhelmed.
In Santa Clara, Joe Vasquez, KPIX 5.
Well, an epic battle finally ended just minutes ago in Game 5 of the World Series.
2 on, 2 out. 10th inning. That's in the end.
With 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th, Houston's Alex Bregman ripped a single, scoring Derek Fisher for the win. 13-12 Astros was the final score. The game lasted 5 hours and 17 minutes with 7 homers and 28 hits. We will have more highlights coming up on game day. Well, he is the only major leaguer to kneel during the national anthem, and just hours ago, he faced a judge. We have new video tonight of Oakland A's catcher Bruce Maxwell in court in Phoenix. He was arrested for pulling a gun on a woman. KPIX 5's Katie Nielsen has new details on the arrest. Katie.
Juliet, it all started yesterday when a delivery driver said Bruce Maxwell pulled a gun on her when she went to deliver food to his house. But this isn't the first time the rookie catcher has made national headlines.
Your Honor, he's never really had any type of criminal activity before in his life. And as you probably noted, he's the catcher for the Oakland Athletics.
Rookie catcher Bruce Maxwell didn't say much during his arraignment tonight, where he was facing charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct. He was arrested just after 6 o'clock last night when a food delivery driver told police Maxwell pulled a gun on her when she went to his door. Bruce Maxwell wasn't a well-known player until a month ago when he decided to kneel during the national anthem at a September home game. He was the only MLB player all season to take a knee.
When somebody goes against the norm and, turns left when everyone turns right, then he's noticed.
John Shea has been covering baseball in the Bay Area for the San Francisco Chronicle for almost 30 years and says this is a situation he's never seen before.
Baseball has a different culture than basketball and football. You see more reserved attitudes in baseball. You see people who don't show emotions.
Which is why Maxwell's very public protest made national headlines. And his arrest last night now puts the Oakland A's in a tough position.
What the A's do at this point is just wait it out.
The A's released a statement saying, "We are disappointed to learn of the allegations. We take this situation and ongoing investigation seriously. We are gathering information from the proper authorities and do not have further comment at this time." Baseball fans say the arrest takes away from Maxwell's protest message.
It does undermine what he had set out to do from the beginning.
I think it's completely messed up. I've been a huge fan of Maxwell's for many, many years. I followed him ever since he came out of the league, and I think it's sad.
Neither Maxwell nor his agent have released any kind of public statement since Maxwell's arrest. I'm Katie Nielsen for KPIX 5.
Well, in a few hours, the first indictments could be unsealed in the Russian meddling investigation. CBS correspondent Meg Oliver on what we might expect in the morning.
Sources have told CBS News that a federal grand jury has approved the charges brought by special counsel Robert Mueller. The indictment could be unsealed Monday.
The only thing we know is that there have been charges approved by a grand jury, and those remain sealed. We don't know how many people have been charged. We don't know what the extent of the charges are.
Mueller has the authority to look into any possible connection between the Trump campaign and Russia. On Sunday, President Trump tweeted about a witch hunt, adding, quote, "All of this Russia talk when the Republicans are making their big push for historic tax cuts and reform. Is this coincidental? Not." A lawyer for the president later said the tweets were unrelated to Mueller's probe. Susan Collins sits on the Senate Intelligence Committee.
I have not yet seen any definitive evidence of collusion. I've seen lots of evidence that the Russians were very active in trying to influence the election.
Congressman Trey Gowdy urged his GOP colleagues to keep an open mind.
I think Bob Mueller has a really distinguished career of service to our country. I would encourage my Republican friends, give the guy a chance to do his job.
It's unclear who alerted the media to news of the indictments. Some White House allies are calling for another investigation into the leaking of supposedly secret grand jury proceedings. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
On Wednesday, the Senate Intelligence Committee will hold a hearing into the ways that the social media influenced the 2016 election. Representatives from Google, Twitter, and Facebook are scheduled to testify. Well, new at 11, a huge mystery tonight. A USB stick filled with confidential information on London's Heathrow Airport was found on a street by a pedestrian, and now officials want to know how it got there. The memory stick was unlocked and it was unencrypted. It had maps of camera positions and locations of secret tunnels and also escape routes. It also revealed details of the area the Queen uses at Heathrow. An internal investigation is now underway. And police in the East Bay are looking for a gunman tonight who shot a man who was trying to stop a sideshow near his home. The gunfire erupted just before 1 a.m. in Discovery Bay. KPIX 5's Andrea Nakano says people in the quiet neighborhood are shaken.
Deputies say it was just around 12:45 this morning when they got a call of shots fired on the 1700 block of Wild Drive. Neighbors were stunned to see the crime scene right outside of their homes.
I look out and I see everybody is outside and I see a dead body on the sidewalk with police and firefighters like everywhere.
Detectives believe what started out as a sideshow turned violent. The story circulating around the neighborhood is that the 48-year-old victim was shot after confronting the two cars involved in causing a disturbance outside his home.
I don't know, yeah, it's terrifying. Like, I had no idea that, like, anybody would want to hurt somebody, kill somebody over just words. Like, it's really scary.
This afternoon, investigators were canvassing the area, talking to homeowners to piece together what happened. They're trying to collect any surveillance footage to help them identify the suspect. While the investigation continues, it left those living here a bit rattled and in disbelief.
Yeah, it's shocking to me. I mean, it's usually a pretty quiet community, lots of families, kids running around.
Very shocked, yeah. This is a very safe neighborhood. I always feel safe. This is a real tragedy.
Authorities are looking for two cars related to this incident. One is a gray Mustang. The other is a red Mitsubishi Eclipse. They believe that the suspects are in their late teens or early 20s, either Hispanic or Asian descent. In Discovery Bay, Andrea Nakano, KPIX 5.
Well, tonight, investigators are still looking for the cause of a deadly house fire in San Francisco. It happened on Molino Drive in San Francisco early this morning, and that is near Glen Canyon Park. Fire crews got the call at 4:20. It took an hour and a half for them to get the fire under control. The name of the person who died has not been released. In the North Bay now, suspected looters picked the wrong Santa Rosa neighborhood to target. Neighbors at the Overlook Apartments caught a man and a woman stealing a flat-screen TV yesterday. It happened in an area with a number of homes damaged by the wildfires.
They don't have any heart. You know, all these people lost all their stuff, and it's just sad that someone would think to steal from a tragedy like this. I mean, it's horrible.
The suspects took off in a stolen truck and ended up ditching it about 2 miles away. Neighbors there chased them down. Police arrested a man and a woman. They face a mandatory minimum of 6 months behind bars because the crime occurred during an official state of emergency. Well, up next, finally back on solid ground, hear from the 2 women who were lost at sea for months, why they say they were just hours from death. Plus, get ready for sticker shock at the gas pump, why you can expect a major surge in prices in the next few days.
And with a baby, it's just, an additional level of scrutiny.
Plus, it's being called momism. Only on 5 tonight, how maternal bias is restricting many talented women in Silicon Valley.
Time for a cool change in the Bay Area. Temperature's going to be coming down, and guess what else will be coming down later in the week? We'll have the forecast for you in a minute. Well, good evening. Things will be cooling down in the Bay Area this week. And in fact, not only will the numbers come down, but we might get
New at 11, we are now hearing from 2 women who drifted on the Pacific Ocean for months before the U.S. Navy saved them. It was back in May the pair set off from Hawaii on their boat for an 18-day trip to Tahiti. Storms badly damaged the vessel and they drifted for 98 days. Eventually, they crossed paths with a Taiwanese fishing boat and were able to make a Mayday call. But they were nearly out of food when the USS Ashland finally reached them last Wednesday, 900 miles from Japan.
Had they not been able to locate us, we would have been dead within 24 hours. These fine men and women behind us took us into their care, brought us under their wing, gave us safety, took care of our animals, gave us toothbrushes, things that we didn't even think about bringing with us when we left.
The ship docked in Okinawa a few hours ago where the women spoke. They are now making arrangements to head back to the United States. Well, drivers may be in for a shock this week at the gas pump. That's because higher taxes kick in across California on Wednesday. Gas taxes will increase by 12 cents a gallon, or 43%, and diesel fuel will cost 20 cents more per gallon, a tax jump of 125%. The legislature approved the tax increase as part of a massive funding bill to improve public transit as well as state and local roads. But drivers have mixed opinions about footing the bill.
We've been hearing that they were supposed to be fixing it for years. So again, if they follow through, great. If not, I'm not holding my breath.
Infrastructure is very important.
Okay.
So I think that's a good idea.
You don't mind paying more for that?
No, I think that roads are important.
The new law also has higher license fees and a charge for car owners of between $25 and $175 based on the value of each vehicle. We've all heard of sexism, but tonight, female entrepreneurs are coming forward saying they've been the victims of momism in Silicon Valley. Betty Yu has the story you'll see only on KPIX 5.
Baby Warren is 10 days old, a miracle child for Amy Yuan, who had suffered miscarriages. Her pregnancy happened at a time when she was trying to raise another child, so to speak, a startup called Proven. It offers data-powered, customized skincare products. Her co-founder and CEO Ming Zhao also found out she was pregnant around the same time. It was a surprise since she was in the middle of freezing her eggs so she could focus on launching the business.
At first, my reaction was that this is the worst of timings because, with all the news, how hard already it is for female founders to found as well as be invested in for a startup. And with a baby, it's just, an additional level of scrutiny.
The new website looks like this.
Because of that, they decided to defer their acceptance into Y Combinator, considered the Harvard of startup accelerators in Silicon Valley. The pair would have pitched their startup to 200 investors on demo day. The advice came from the program's advisors.
One was very pointedly we don't want you to be on stage during demo day talking about your company, presenting your company while we're both visibly pregnant. You're going to get a lot of attention, but it's not the type of attention that you'd want.
That attention reflects a kind of bias known as maternal bias or momism.
Maternal bias, I call it the most deadliest of the types of implicit bias directed towards women. So women who are mothers are 79% less likely to be hired as compared to other women. They make on average $11,000 less.
San Diego-based diversity and inclusion specialist Kristen Nepper says it creates a lose-lose situation.
There's this idea that you will want to be home with your child, and if you don't want to be home with your child, then there's something wrong with you as a woman.
Layla Saborian knows firsthand. When she was pitching her educational startup Chef Kuchalu to all-male investors,
one investor literally asked me, he said, well, I really only invest on people who are 100% dedicated to the project, and that means no outside distractions. Is that you? And I said, yes, that is me. He said, so you don't have kids? I said, no, I do have kids.
She didn't end up getting any funding. Questions kept coming.
They would tell me, why now? Why wait till age 40 to start a company? Or, who's going to take care of your kids when you do this?
She gave up entirely on venture funding and instead applied for public funds.
Pregnancy is such a natural part of life, right? It's a continuation of the human race, and yet in startup and VC world, it's seen as such a detriment.
Even before Warren was born, Amy says many of the male software engineers on the team quit when they found out she was pregnant.
Those are the people that I knew before, and we were friends for many months, and we have worked on the project together.
Crunchbase found that right now only 17% of startups have a female founder, and that number hasn't grown in the past 5 years, even though many tech giants are now showing that work-life balance is important.
Amy has built this database.
Ming and Amy are pushing their startup forward and rejoining Y Combinator in January.
I think the best way to really make it better for future generations of female founders is to do well and to create a unicorn, or at least create a really successful business so that people can see, hey, it doesn't matter if you're either female or female with child or whatnot.
In Palo Alto, Betty Yu, KPIX 5.
Well, good evening. Things will be cooling down in the Bay Area this week. And in fact, not only will the numbers come down, but we might get rain by the end of the week. What's happening is a stronger sea breeze will give us drizzle tonight, some fog during the drive tomorrow morning, only mid-60s inland. And more clouds. So it looks like a cold start to the week. The Futurecast shows low clouds pull in over the peninsula, into the bay, over to the East Bay Hills. Is midday tomorrow, slow to clear. It looks like less sunshine, but dry in the early going. So Halloween, patchy fog and cool temperatures on Halloween day will be in the mid-60s to mid-70s. There'll be some fog around, maybe drizzle at the coast, but essentially dry. What's happening is that high pressure is finally weakening. And as that low pressure spins over Southern California, we get a cool start to the week. And to sum it up, tomorrow, fog, clouds, cool start on Monday. More sun, though, and warmth on Tuesday and Wednesday. We will have increasing sun and a little bit of a temperature bump coming in for Tuesday and Wednesday before clouds coming in on Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday look wet for the first time in a while. Overnight lows, temperatures will get down to 44 in Santa Rosa, same for Napa, 47 at Livermore and 50 in San Jose. Sun up on Monday at 7:33 a.m. And then, it doesn't look bad, but it does look below average. Only 60 in San Francisco tomorrow. Ordinarily, we're about 69. Concord, 67 degrees. It'll be unusually cool in Oakland at 62. South Bay tomorrow, plenty of low clouds, not much sun. Temps mid-60s, just a nudge or two warmer with mid to upper 60s for the most part in the East Bay, and low clouds will be slow to clear. And then the same drill for the North Bay, 68 at Petaluma, 65 at the Marin Civic Center, and 71 for Santa Rosa. A few 70s around at Cloverdale and St. Helena as well. Clear Lake gets up to 72 for Monday. Extended forecast, here come the clouds for tomorrow. A little bit of drizzle too, and some fog tonight. And in the early morning hours, more sun Tuesday and Wednesday, then increasing clouds lead to a chance of rain on Friday and Saturday and some lingering showers on Sunday. So enjoy the dry weather while you can.
Up next, he took a horrifying fall at Burning Man and became paralyzed. What the man is now saying about how he suffered his severe injuries. Also, up next, a teenager gives everyone a sneak peek at the iPhone 10. Well, tonight, how her YouTube video cost her father his job at Apple.
I'm Dennis O'Donnell. Coming up next on Game Day, can the Warriors salvage a real tough day for the Bay Area sports team?
The right thing happened.
We've got reporters with both the 49ers and Raiders.
Hopefully this is a slap in the face to a lot of guys in that locker room.
And the death of a former 49er sounds an alarm.
I think it's the tip of the iceberg, personally.
Our Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott, and Joe Montana are coming to the rescue. That story and all the sports coming up next on Game Day.
Dad has the new iPhone 10. Are people calling?
Well, Dad may have the phone, but he doesn't have his job anymore. This video shows an Apple engineer's daughter playing with the iPhone 10 before its release. They were having lunch together at Apple's Cupertino campus last month. After she posted the video on YouTube, Apple told her to take it down and told her father to pack his stuff and go.
I made this little innocent video that was just supposed to be a fun memory of me and my family. That's all that making videos is to me. It suddenly went viral, and I have no idea how my video got so much attention, considering how many other iPhone 10 videos there are out there from other YouTubers.
Peterson said she had no idea she was breaking any rules. No comment from Apple tonight. Well, a man paralyzed from a fall at Burning Man is now talking about the accident for the very first time. Aron Zahavny was with his wife celebrating their 7th wedding anniversary when he fell 30 feet from a climbing structure in August. He's undergone several surgeries, including one to place a metal rod in his back to support his broken spine.
My injury had nothing to do with substances. It had to do with what is supposed to happen in my life happening.
Friends have started an online campaign to help pay bills and retrofit his home. Zahavi says he's focused on his family and getting stronger. Well, up next, it could be a revolution for the coffee industry. The maker of a well-known San Francisco brew has now come up with the first environmentally friendly pod. New at 11, the makers of San Francisco Bay gourmet coffee just made history. The Rogers family company is the first to go national with a completely compostable coffee pod. The lid is made of wood pulp. The mesh filter is a plant-based fabric, and the ring is made of corn. 90 days after it arrives at a compost facility, the pod becomes dirt.
The hope is that everything's compostable in the future. These new age plastics, if you will, the ones made from plants, you can imagine, Cliff Bars, cereal bags, things like that. I mean, if everyone did this, it would be, a much better place, a lot less waste.
The company says about 11 billion single-serve coffee pods are thrown into a landfill every year. They hope more companies follow their lead. We will be right back. For more on tonight's Game 5 of the World Series, stay tuned for Game Day. It's up next. Have a great night.